The storm hit the ruins with roaring force. Wind howled through shattered metal and broken stone, but he didn't run. He stood still, staring at the strange, towering figure in front of him. It was not made of normal stone. It shimmered faintly in the rain, as if made from stardust and silver. A tall woman with flowing hair, her eyes closed, lips soft, arms folded like she was sleeping. But no one had touched it in centuries. Corin was a scavenger. He had no interest in legends. He only wanted something to sell: tech, metals, anything. But something about the statue made him pause, not fear. Something else: curiosity, pull, hunger, or maybe it was loneliness. He reached out, touching the cold cheek of the alien statue. It didn't feel like rock. It felt warm, alive. His hand trembled. He laughed to himself. "Stupid," he whispered. "You're just a story. A queen turned to stone during the First War, right? That's what they say. A kiss wakes you up." Like a fairy tale, dumb, he leaned forward anyway, a joke, a dare to himself, and pressed his lips gently to hers. Lightning cracked across the sky. A pulse rippled through the ruins. His heart skipped. Then thunder slammed into the world like a hammer. The statue glowed beneath his touch. The lips under his mouth grew. Soft, warm, and moved. Corin stumbled back. He fell into the mud. The statue's body shimmered, melting from solid into flesh. The metal vines around her cracked apart and fell to the ground. Her eyes opened, slowly golden, ancient, burning. Like twin suns, she took a breath. A deep one, like it was her first in thousands of years. And when she looked down at him, it wasn't confusion in her gaze, it was hunger. "Who has awakened me?" she asked. Her voice was smooth, sharp, like silk over blades. Corin swallowed hard. I did. Sorry, I didn't mean. You touched me. You kissed me," she said. "I felt your blood. Your warmth. You are not one of mine. You are human." He stood up slowly. "Yeah, I'm human. You're not just a statue, are you?" "I was Queen Xelari, ruler of the solar thrones," she said. "I went to sleep when my people were betrayed. I sealed myself in living stone to survive the poison of war. The old magic said only a soul untainted by power could awaken me." Corin laughed nervously. "Well, I guess that's me. I've got no power, no money, and no idea what's going on." She stepped toward him. The rain hissed against her skin but didn't touch her. A glowing field rippled around her like a second skin. "I was to choose a mate before I slept," she said. "But I never did. I waited for one whose kiss was not forced by greed or fear. Now I rise and I choose." Corin backed away. "Whoa, look, I didn't mean anything. I was just messing around. You awakened me." "You are mine," she said, with a calm that made him freeze. "What is your name, Corin?" he said. "Just Corin." She looked at the broken sky. Then Corin, "The war is not over. I feel it in the stars. Someone has stirred the darkness again. My return is no accident." Corin blinked. "War? The war ended centuries ago. Then why are my enemies whispering in the void?" she asked, her eyes glowing brighter. "Why do I feel their machines breathing again?" Before Corin could speak, a shriek tore through the air. Ships. 3 of them. Sleek, black, fast. They didn't bear any flags. They were hunting something, and they had found it. The ships fired. Without warning, Corin dove behind a stone slab. Queen Xelari raised her hand. The blast hit an invisible wall and scattered. She didn't even flinch. "They found me too quickly," she said, narrowing her eyes. "This is no coincidence. Someone knew I would return." Corin peeked out. "You can fight them, right?" "I will not run," she said. "But you, Corin, you should." "I don't leave people behind," he said. "Even alien queens made of magic rock." She blinked, then smiled. "Then you are braver than most." Stay close. I will not let you die. The ship circled again. Her hands rose, light crackling between her fingers. Let them learn, she whispered. Let them see who I once was. As the sky lit up in fire and the ground shook, Corin realized something terrifying and incredible. He hadn't just kissed a sleeping queen. He had just awakened a war. Asterisk. The ground trembled as Queen Xelari raised both arms. A dome of gold light shimmered around her and Corin. The ships above fired again, but their weapons crashed against her barrier like pebbles on glass. Corin crouched low, shielding his head even though he knew it wouldn't help. Are those bounty hunters? He shouted over the blasts. They are assassins, Xelari said, sent by cowards who feared my return. They've waited centuries for this moment. Lucky me, Corin muttered. Guess I picked the wrong statue too. Kiss, the queen didn't laugh. She stepped forward, barefoot, graceful and terrifying. The dirt beneath her feet didn't even stick. Her eyes were locked on the ship circling above. She raised her right hand, fingers spread. A beam of sharp blue light cut from her palm and struck one of the ships. It didn't explode, it simply turned silent, then dropped from the sky like a broken toy. Corin stared. That wasn't human tech. I do not use weapons. I use memory, she said. The universe remembers me, and now it remembers its fear. The second ship fired again. This time it aimed at Corin. He saw the cannon heat up. He screamed and braced for death. But Xelari moved faster than thought. She was in front of him, arms spread, face calm. The beam hit her chest and broke into sparks. Her body glowed from within, like sunlight trapped under skin. She turned her head and said, "You are under my protection now." Corin's voice shook. "Why me? You don't even know me." "I know you kissed me not for power," she said. "I know your hands trembled with fear, but you stayed. You defended me without knowing what I was. That is more than most." A final ship hovered, scanning them, then turned and vanished into the clouds, retreating, running. The queen lowered her hands. "More will come," she said. "The galaxy will feel my breath again, and those who wanted me silent will rise to strike." Corin stood. "So now what? Do you go fight them all? Start a war again?" She looked at him strangely. "No, I seek truth. Who betrayed my people? Who whispered for my death? And why the stars have gone silent?" He scratched his neck. "That sounds big. You got an army?" She shook her head. "I have you." He laughed. "I'm not a soldier. I'm just a scavenger. You woke me. You are bound to me now. Where I walk, you walk, until the stars say otherwise." Corin opened his mouth to argue, but stopped. Something about her voice didn't allow disagreement. It wasn't cruel. It was complete. Like gravity, she looked around. "I must gather strength. There are places I must visit. Temples, graves, vaults of memory. And they're all on this planet?" He asked. She tilted her head. "Some, others. In orbit, or buried in time," Corin groaned. "Great. I don't even have a ship." "You will," she said. "But first we walk." They moved through the jungle ruins together. The plants bent away from her like they knew her. Even the wind grew still when she passed. Corin kept stealing glances at her. Not because she was beautiful, though she was, but because nothing about her made sense. "How long were you asleep?" he asked. 11,327 years, she answered. He stopped walking. "You're joking." She didn't answer. Her eyes were scanning the path ahead. Then she pointed. There, beneath the vines, a doorway. Corin pushed aside the thick green growth. A door stood in the dirt wall, hidden but sealed with an old alien lock. She raised her hand, and the lock unraveled into dust. The door opened inward with a soft breath of air. The chamber beyond was round. Metal walls etched with glowing lines. In the center was a single chair and something floating above it. A cube, black, silent. She stepped toward it and placed her palm under the cube. The object dropped into her hand like it had waited for her all this time. "This is the memory key," she said. "It holds what was stolen from my mind." Corin frowned. "You were wiped? Parts of me. The truth about who ordered my sleep. The face of the traitor. It is in here." She closed her hand around the cube. "But it will not open without your presence." He blinked. "Mine? Why?" "Because you kissed the lock," she said softly. "You carry the seal now. This world remembers it. The key will obey you as well." The chamber lights pulsed. The cube glowed in her hand. The walls rippled with light like stars waking up. Corin's heart pounded. He thought he was just a nobody, but now the galaxy's lost queen had chosen him as her key and her mate. The cube floated between their hands now, humming softly like it was alive. Blue rings of light spun around it, reacting to the presence of both Corin and Queen Xelari. He wanted to step back, but his feet refused to move. "You're serious?" he asked. "This little box needs me?" "It does not need you," she said. "It responds to you. That is different." The lights flared again. Lines from the walls lit up, crawling outward like rivers of memory waking from a long sleep. Symbols shimmered across the walls. Alien words Corin couldn't read, but they somehow stirred feelings in his chest. The cube clicked. Then it unfolded in midair. Not with mechanical parts, but with soft layers of light peeling back like petals, blooming in slow motion. In its core, a small projection flared to life, a woman's face. Noble and cruel, eyes hard as stone. Xelari's jaw tightened. "I know her. Who is she?" Corin asked. "She was one of my trusted generals," Xelari said. "Her name was Vale. She swore to defend me. But here she is, entering the vault alone, holding the keys and sealing me inside." The projection continued. The woman's voice echoed through the room. "The queen is too powerful. The war cannot end with her alive. For peace, she must sleep." Xelari's hands curled into fists. "She betrayed me in the name of peace. She feared me more than she feared the enemy." Corin felt sick. "That was your friend?" "She was like a sister," the queen said. "Now I know who whispered for my end." The projection changed. A map shimmered in the air, showing a star system with 5 blinking red points. "These are vaults," Xelari said. "Scattered before my fall. Each holds a piece of what they erased." Corin stared. "We need to go to all of them?" "Yes," she said. "If I am to be whole again, if I am to lead." He sighed. "I'm still just a guy with no ship." "You are more than that," she said. "But you will have what we need." The cube dimmed and sealed itself again. The chamber lights faded slowly, but Corin noticed something strange. A low vibration in the floor. A sound like machines waking below. "What's that noise?" he asked. "They found us," Xelari whispered. The back wall split open. A massive shape walked through, twice as tall as a human, all metal and muscle. It had one glowing red eye and a symbol carved on its chest, a black triangle with a red slash. Corin pulled Xelari behind him. "Friend of yours?" "No," she said. "That is a reclaimer." The machine's voice roared. "The artifact is active. The queen must be destroyed." It raised a weapon from its arm. Corin grabbed a rock from the floor, useless, but instinct took over. The machine fired. A flash of plasma shot toward them. Then, Xelari stepped forward with one hand raised. The blast bent around her like water. It struck the wall and exploded in a shower of sparks. The reclaimer charged. Corin screamed and ducked. But the queen was already moving. She leapt, graceful and fast, landing on the machine's chest. Her fingers sank into its armor like blades. She whispered something in a language Corin didn't understand. The machine froze mid-step, Then it collapsed. Smoke hissed from its broken joints. Xelari landed beside Corin, her expression unreadable. "Even now they try to erase me," she said. "But I will not go back to sleep." Corin wiped sweat from his face. "That thing almost killed us." She turned to him. "You did not run." He looked away. "Didn't have time." "No," she said. "You stayed because you chose to. That is rare." They climbed back out of the vault. The sky had darkened. Not with night, but with more incoming ships. At least 10 now. Black shapes moving fast. "They are coming in force," she said. "We must leave." "But where?" "We don't have transport." She knelt and placed a hand to the dirt. The ground shimmered. Symbols lit in a circle beneath her fingers. A large stone nearby cracked open and slowly. A craft began rising from underground. It was sleek, ancient, covered in dust, but still shining with the same glow as her eyes. "This is the Sovereign's flight," she said. "My personal vessel, hidden long ago. It still lives." Corin blinked. "You buried your spaceship?" "It waited for me," she replied. The ship opened with a hiss. A soft ramp slid out. Xelari turned to him and held out her hand. "Corin, come with me." The stars had begun to speak again. He looked back at the jungle ruins, then at the growing darkness above, and finally at her hand. He took it without a word. Together, they stepped into the ancient ship as the sky above burned with the roar of enemies, returning to finish what they started. The ship's interior lit up as soon as they entered. Soft lights traced the walls. Strange symbols glowed like fireflies in the dark. The floor felt smooth but alive, pulsing faintly under Corin's boots. He followed Xelari through the curved corridor. Everything felt ancient but awake. No dust, no rust. The ship had been asleep, just like her. And now it welcomed her back. "Does this thing still fly?" Corin asked. Xelari touched a console. It responded instantly, panels blooming open, lights dancing across the ceiling. "It remembers me," she said. "It will fly." The walls shifted around them, reshaping gently as they moved. The bridge revealed itself ahead, a large open space with one central chair that rose from the floor like it had grown there. Xelari sat, and the ship hummed louder. A glowing screen opened in front of her. It showed the sky outside. 10 black enemy ships were closing in. They flew in sharp formations, hunting, preparing to strike. "They are fast," Corin said. "Can we outrun them?" "No," she answered, "but we are not made to run." She placed one hand on the armrest. The ship responded instantly. A dome of golden energy rose around them. A loud tone echoed across the sky as if the ship was screaming its return. Outside, the enemy ships fired in unison. Beams of plasma and dark energy struck the dome, but none broke through. The ship's shield held firm. "I can't believe this," Corin whispered. "You're making a warship fly with just your hands." "This is no warship," she said calmly. "This is a throne." Corin stared at her. She sat with such stillness, her eyes locked on the stars, her hair glowing faintly in the ship's light. She didn't look like someone who had just awakened from centuries of sleep. She looked like someone who had always been in control. The screen changed. One of the enemy ships broke formation and headed straight toward them. It began charging a massive energy blast. Corin pointed. "That one's not playing around." Xelari stood. "Then neither will I." She walked forward and reached toward the screen. The symbols along her arm began to glow. She touched the image of the ship, and the wall itself seemed to pulse in response. A sharp line of light cut through the sky outside. The enemy ship tore in two. Corin's jaw dropped. "You can destroy them with a touch?" "I do not destroy," she said. "I correct." The remaining ships paused, then turned and began to retreat. One by one, they slipped into the clouds and vanished. Corin let out a breath he hadn't realized. He'd been holding. That was insane. You didn't even move. I moved enough, she said. But they'll be back. Stronger, angrier. The real threat is not them. It is the one who leads them. General Vale, Corin said. Xelari nodded. She has rebuilt in the shadows. She wears a new name now. But her fear is the same. She believes I am the past. She wants the future shaped by silence. Corin sat beside her. And we're going to stop her? We must, she said. But first, we gather the truth. She touched the screen again. The star map from the vault appeared. One red point blinked far across the sector. The first vault. The first memory fragment. Corin leaned in. What's there? A memory temple, Xelari said. Built before I was born. It holds the truth of my rise. And the lie they buried. She set the course. The ship hummed and began to rise. The engines sang with a deep pulse like a living heart. Outside, the trees bent under the force of the lift. The ground cracked as they tore into the sky. As the planet fell away beneath them, Corin watched the stars stretch and twist. In seconds, they entered the void of space. Silence wrapped around them like a blanket. Ever flown through space before? Xelari asked without looking at him. Corin smiled nervously. Only in cheap mining freighters. Nothing like this. She turned to him. Then you will see wonders. The ship surged forward. Space bent around them as the Sovereign's flight moved faster than light. A tunnel of colors stretched beyond the bridge. Corin leaned back, gripping the seat. And then, it was over. The ship slowed, arriving above a dead moon. It floated like a broken tooth in the dark. On its surface stood a single black tower, half buried in dust. That's the temple? Corin asked. It is the beginning, she replied. They descended. The ramp opened. Cold air rushed in. Xelari stepped forward, and the tower responded. A slow hum rumbled through the rock. Lights ignited one by one. As she entered, the door opened without touch. Inside, stone pillars lined the walls. A small pedestal sat in the center, covered in glowing vines. A crystal sphere floated above. As Xelari approached. This holds the oath. The first one I ever swore as queen. She reached for the sphere. The vines shifted away. As her fingers touched the crystal, the room brightened. A voice filled the space. Young, bold, it was her voice. From long ago, I swear by star and soul, I will lead not by fear, but by fire. I will guard truth. I will walk alone if I must, but never lie to my people. Corin stepped closer. You were just a girl when you said that. I was 17 cycles old, she said, and they feared I would be more than a puppet. She turned to him, her eyes burning gold again. They were right. The moment she finished speaking, the tower trembled. Dust fell from the ceiling. Ancient walls glowed with red light. Something had been triggered by her touch, and it wasn't just memory. Corin stepped back. Did we just wake something up? Xelari stared at the crystal. This place was watched. A failsafe built into the stone. It sent a signal. A signal to who? Corin asked. She turned slowly. To the one who fears my voice. Before Corin could speak, the air around them cracked. With energy. A portal opened sharp blue on black. From it stepped 3 armored figures. All wore the red triangle symbol on their chests. Their helmets hissed. Their weapons were already drawn. By order of the Sovereign Concord, one said. The relic. Queen must be destroyed. Corin raised his hands. We're not looking for a fight. You carry her scent, the soldier said. You are infected, Corin blinked. What? They see me as a disease, Xelari said calmly. One they failed to cure. The first soldier raised his weapon. Step away from the Throneburn. Xelari stepped forward instead. I am not Throneburn. I am the throne. She moved like lightning. Her hand shot forward. The lead soldier's weapon cracked in half before he fired. Her other hand struck his chest and sent him flying into a pillar. Corin dropped low, trying to stay out of the way. The second soldier fired. A plasma round zipped past Corin's face. Xelari spun mid-air, catching the blast in her palm. It dissolved. In her grip like water on fire, the third soldier charged her with a blade, but she stopped him with a single word. He froze in place, shaking violently. Then his armor cracked apart, falling to the floor in pieces. Corin watched, heart pounding, as the queen stood among the broken warriors. She hadn't even bled. She hadn't broken a breath. And her face remained calm. "Leave," she said to the last man crawling backward. "Tell your masters the queen walks again." The wounded soldier crawled to the portal and vanished. The temple fell quiet again, but the air remained tense. Corin stood slowly, brushing dust from his sleeves. "I don't think I'm built for this kind of excitement," he said. "You are surviving it," she answered. "That's enough for now." He looked at the crystal sphere again. "So what did we just get out of this vault?" Xelari returned to the pedestal. The sphere hovered closer, now glowing with golden light. She touched it, and the image inside changed. A face appeared. Not hers this time. It was General Vale, younger, hiding in the shadows of a hall, whispering to someone unseen. "She must be removed," Vale's voice said. "She burns too brightly. The people will follow her too far." A second voice replied, male, deep, calm. "And who would take her place?" "I will," Vale said. "But she must never know. If she wakes, all is lost." The image faded. Xelari's fingers closed into a fist. She planned it from the beginning. "Even before I rose to power." Corin shook his head. "You trusted her. And she planned to bury you alive." "She feared the fire I promised to bring," Xelari said. "And she built a world in my silence." They exited the temple. The ship waited, its lights blinking softly, but something was different. A second signal blinked on the map now. Another vault had revealed itself. This one pulsed in red and blue, deeper into space. Xelari touched the console. "The second vault has awakened. It contains the truth about the treaty they forged in my name." Corin looked at her. "The treaty that ended the war?" She nodded. "The one that cost 1,000,000 lives. They signed it pretending I agreed, but I never saw it, never approved it." He frowned. "So all this peace is a lie?" "Not all," she said. "But the shape of it was built on stolen voice." Corin walked to the window. Stars stretched in every direction. Somewhere out there, a general waited in the throne stolen by betrayal. And now the real queen was coming. The ship rose once more, piercing the void. As it jumped to faster than light, Corin found himself staring at her again. She didn't smile. She didn't speak. But her presence was like fire in the dark. And in that moment, Corin understood. He hadn't kissed a sleeping statue. He had kissed the storm that would reshape the stars. Asterisk, the stars blurred past them as the sovereigns. Flight cut through deep space. Silence filled the bridge, except for the soft hum of the ship's core. Corin sat beside Queen Xelari, watching her fingers glide across the glowing console. They were approaching the final vault. Why did this one appear only now? Corin asked. "Because the others were keys," she replied. "And now the door is ready to open." The ship slowed. A massive structure emerged from the darkness. Not a planet. Not a station. It was something else, a broken ring, orbiting a dead star. Floating, silent, ancient. It looked like the skeleton of a god. "The Crownfall Vault," Xelari said. "The place where my rule truly ended." Corin stared at the fractured ring. "You think she's there?" "I don't think," Xelari said. "I know." The ship docked at the edge of the vault. Long-dead systems powered on as she stepped forward. Lights flickered to life beneath her feet. The walls welcomed her like They remembered their queen. Corin followed closely. Every breath he took felt heavier. The air carried history, betrayal, and something else, finality. They entered a vast chamber. At its center stood a throne made of black crystal, cracked down the middle. And sitting upon it was a woman wrapped in armor, her long silver hair falling across her shoulders. Her eyes opened slowly. "Xelari," she said. "You should have stayed asleep." "Vale," Xelari answered. "You should have left my name in peace." General Vale stood. Her armor clicked softly. She looked older than the recordings, but no less dangerous. Her gaze turned to Corin. "The human," she said. "You bonded with one of them? That was your great awakening?" Corin opened his mouth, but Xelari raised a hand. "He kissed me, without wanting anything in return. That makes him more honest than your entire empire." Vale stepped down from the throne. "I did what I had to. You were too strong, too proud. They would have followed you into endless war. You chose peace built on lies," Xelari said. "I chose survival," Vale replied. "And now you will face truth," Xelari said. "The vault remembers." The walls flared with golden light. The entire chamber came alive. Projections filled the space scenes of the old war, the day of betrayal, the secret meeting where Vale forged Xelari's signature with stolen blood. Corin watched in silence. The truth played like a silent trial, every lie exposed, every hidden hand revealed. Vale stood motionless. Her eyes never left the images. When the last one faded, she spoke. "Do you think truth will change anything?" "It already has," Xelari said. "You ruled in my absence. Now I return. Let the people choose. They won't follow you," Vale said. "You're from another time." "Then let time speak," Xelari replied. Vale's hand moved to her sword. "If you step forward, I'll strike you down before they ever hear you." Corin stepped between them. His body shook, but he stood firm. "Then you'll strike me." "Two." Vale narrowed her eyes. "Move, human. This isn't your war. You made it mine when you tried to kill her," he said. "And I won't let you touch her." For a long moment, no one moved. Then Xelari placed her hand on Corin's shoulder and stepped beside him. "You asked if they would follow me," she said to Vale. "Then watch." She raised her hand. The throne behind Vale cracked again, and a signal pulsed from the room. Across the stars, beacons lit up. Silent sentinels buried for centuries blinked to life. Everywhere, old systems activated. She had not only returned, she had announced it to the galaxy. "I am Xelari, daughter of flame," she said. "The voice of the first oath. I live, I remember. And I rise not to rule, but to be heard." Corin felt the ship hum above them. Messages were spreading. Light years away, screens were lighting up. Aliens of every kind would now see the truth, the betrayal, the survival, and the return. Vale stood still. She lowered her sword. Her voice shook, but not with fear, with grief. "I tried to protect them," she said, "even if it meant becoming the villain." Xelari nodded. "You did, and now it ends." Vale walked away slowly. No chains, no fight, just silence. She disappeared into the shadows of the vault. Her crown shattered behind her. Later, aboard the ship, Corin sat beside Xelari as the stars calmed outside. He looked at her, still not sure what he had truly awakened. "You're free now," he sighed. "You can go anywhere, be anything." She turned to him. "You still don't understand. I don't want to rule. I want to rebuild. With me?" He asked. She reached for his hand. "You kissed a statue and awakened a queen. Now she chooses you not as a tool, but as her equal." Corin smiled, heart pounding. "What happens now?" She looked out the window where the stars waited like open roads. "Now," she whispered, "we begin again."